Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving straight into a fascinating and honestly kind of invisible phenomenon. We're looking at the actual nuts and bolts mechanics of building wealth. And we're trying to solve a genuine mystery. Why do so many incredibly hardworking people never actually get there? I mean, it's a puzzle that affects almost all of us, but the answer is hiding right in plain sight. We're going to look closely at the data and the psychology behind what we're calling this silent path to wealth. So buckle up, because what we're about to cover might literally change how you look at your very next paycheck. It raises this super counterintuitive question, right? What if earning more money doesn't actually make you rich? Think about it. We spend our whole adult lives trying to climb that corporate ladder, negotiating for better pay, always hunting for that next big bump in income. But what if I told you that the biggest reason most people never become wealthy has absolutely nothing to do with the size of their salary? Crazy, I know. We always want to blame external factors, but the source material makes it crystal clear. A lack of wealth? It's not about inflation, it's not about the state of the broader economy, and it absolutely isn't just about bad luck.
Instead, it points to a massive lie that almost everyone believes. It's this deeply ingrained, incredibly dangerous assumption that earning more money automatically equals being rich. From a super young age, we're conditioned to think that the moment we hit that next income bracket, maybe it's six figures, maybe it's even more, all our financial worries will just magically vanish and wealth will just build itself. We totally equate a high salary with high wealth. But as the research and the real-world examples show us, that is just a complete and utter myth.
And that brings us to the harsh reality of the situation, something often called the salary trap. Every single year, millions of people work incredibly hard. You put in the extra hours, you chase those promotions, and you celebrate those hard-earned pay raises with friends and family. But then, something strange and completely silent happens behind the scenes. As your income increases, your expenses tend to increase even faster. That raise you worked so hard for over the last 12 months, poof, it vanishes into thin air before you even realize it hit your bank account. We call this lifestyle creep.
And it doesn't happen all at once. It sneaks up on you in these really small, totally justifiable ways. You get a promotion, so hey, you upgrade to a slightly bigger house. You trade in your car for a newer, flashier model. Suddenly you're taking more expensive holidays, you're piling on monthly subscriptions. Seriously, who actually watches 4 different streaming services? And you're picking up luxury habits like those premium daily coffees that feel completely normal at the time. You aren't actually building wealth with that new salary. You're just continuously upgrading your overhead. And this is exactly why finding a practical way to track your expenses, whether it's using a simple budgeting app on your phone or just taking 5 minutes to review your bank statements every Friday, is absolutely crucial to stopping the leak.
To really wrap our heads around the hidden cost of this, let's look at 2 friends. This is where the math gets really interesting. On the left, we have a friend who earns a respectable but average $80,000 a year. But crucially, they deliberately live below their means and invest a portion of that income consistently. On the right, we have their friend who earns more than double, a massive $180,000 salary. But this friend spends absolutely everything they make trying to look successful to the outside world. Now, I want you to imagine fast-forwarding 10, maybe 20 years into the future.
Just look at this stark, undeniable difference in their net worth decades later. It all comes down to investments versus repayments. That first person on the left, the average earner who quietly invested, now actually owns substantial income-producing assets. They own their investments. But the second person, the high earner on the right, who looked so wealthy and successful to everyone else, they just own a massive mountain of debt repayments. Sure, they have high cash flow, but they have zero actual sustainable wealth. They are entirely dependent on their very next paycheck.
The sources highlight this one quote that really shifts the whole perspective. Income creates opportunity, habits create wealth. I love that. Your paycheck, no matter how astronomically big it gets, is really just a tool. Think of it like a shovel. But your daily, repetitive financial actions, those deeply ingrained habits, are what actually build the foundation of your wealth. It's fascinating how completely we need to shift our focus away from the raw size of our salary and place it squarely on the automated actions we take the exact second that money hits our accounts. Now, making the right choices is exceptionally difficult when the deck is entirely stacked against you. Just look at who actually profits when we project this illusion of wealth. Banks profit immensely from the interest on your loans and credit cards. Major brands profit from insecurity, selling you status symbols just to make you feel validated. And social media platforms, they profit from constant comparison, keeping you scrolling, feeling inadequate, and constantly buying more stuff. The whole system is literally engineered to extract your wealth, not build it.
Which creates this massive, fundamental conflict of interest. Over on the left, we have the broader economy, and it desperately wants you to spend. I mean, it literally thrives on your continuous consumption. But over on the right, we have your future. Your future self desperately wants you to invest. These two goals are completely at odds with one another. To find any sort of financial balance, we have to wake up and realize this tug of war is happening. And we have to be willing to do exactly what the broader economy does not want us to do.
Because once you actually understand the traps that are set for you, you can actively choose a different route. Our sources call this the silent path. This is what genuinely wealthy people actually do behind closed doors when nobody is watching. Let me tell you, it is not flashy. It rarely gets any likes on social media, and you definitely won't see people bragging about it at a dinner party. But it is the mathematically proven, battle-tested way to secure your financial future. Notice just how countercultural these habits actually are. The genuinely wealthy often don't look wealthy at all. They drive understated, reliable cars that just get them from point A to point B. They actively avoid unnecessary consumer debt by tracking their spending and knowing exactly where every dollar goes, and they invest regularly. One of the absolute best methods to start investing is just setting up automated transfers on payday, so the money moves directly into an investment account before you even have a chance to spend it. They completely ignore passing consumer trends, and most importantly, they just wait. They let compound growth do all the heavy lifting over decades. Their money is working tirelessly and quietly in the background, while everyone else is just busy performing success online. Adopting these habits forces us to completely redefine what we're actually aiming for in the first place. Real wealth is measured by absolute freedom, rather than by what other people can see. The sources make such a brilliant point here. We literally have to stop trying to impress people who aren't even paying our bills. The fancy cars, the designer clothes, the massive houses, they're often just a performance. True wealth is practically invisible to the naked eye. It's the money you haven't spent. It's the options you have available to you. So what are you actually buying when you make the choice to save and invest instead of spend? You aren't just hoarding numbers on a digital screen. You are buying highly tangible freedom. You're buying the freedom to choose the work you actually want to do, rather than what you have to do just to pay off a mountain of debt. The freedom to retire early if you want to. The freedom to help your family out when they need it most. And perhaps the most valuable asset of all, the freedom to sleep soundly at night, completely devoid of financial stress. How amazing does that sound? And that brings us to a deeply profound takeaway from all of this. The richest life is often the quietest one. Wealth isn't about the loudest car in the neighborhood or the most expensive watch in the boardroom. It's about having the quiet, unshakable confidence of knowing your future is completely secure and possessing the genuine freedom to live life exactly on your own terms. So, the very next time you get a raise or a bonus, take a quick moment to ask yourself, are you going to buy the appearance of wealth or the quiet reality of freedom? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.